it's time to drink. The waitress comes over to me and she asks, do I need anything else? I need any food? There's have more stuff available. And I said, no, I think I'm good. 3 pints is enough right now. And she started asking me some questions. But then she told me something very profound. This is one of the things that stuck with me the most in this trip. And she says to me, up and on my way, there's just 3 things I'm doing today. I want to go see the Sapporo Beer Museum, I want to see where Miku lives, and I want to go up that mountain behind me. It's been looming over me the whole time. It's supposed to be a cable car, and that'll be plenty for today. But I think I need something else. That's kind of where I'm at in my head at the moment. And I think, all right, today, no public transportation. Walking only. I mean, otherwise I'm going to see a billboard and end up in some city down the coast again, and I'm not going to get any time in Sapporo. I get to the Sapporo Beer Museum. Now this has been hyped up by pamphlets and photos and all of these gotta go places. And it just feels like a tourist trap. Like, this is probably the first and most significant feeling of, I think I've been baited the whole trip. And that doesn't feel very good. It's kind of funny because I didn't want to go into much of Japan with expectations. I already like the anime and the nerd stuff and the Tokyo. It's going to be a thing, right? But with everything else, I wanted to let it be what it was going to be. With Sapporo and the beer museum and a brewery tour, I had some meaningful expectations, actually. I grew up in the Midwest, so I went to St. Louis. I went through the Anheuser-Busch factory. I got to see the Clydesdales when I was a kid. I've seen, like, a grandiose experience. I don't need it's over the top, but that's kind of what I'm looking for here, and this place isn't it. And so I had one of those moments again where I went, okay, it didn't go great. This isn't what I thought it would be. Like, okay, get in the right headspace. What are we gonna do about this? Maybe I'm wrong. And it turns out I was. So pulling the pamphlet back out, the old Sapporo experience is set in a couple of different locations. This factory is, like I said, it's kind of tchotchkes, an indoor mall sort of thing. And then 4 blocks beyond that, that's where the actual brewery is. And it has the real museum, the actual brewery tour, and a like full-on attached restaurant. So, okay, I said I'm walking everywhere today, 4 more blocks, ain't nothing. Carrying on those next few blocks after the disappointing factory, things start to change. There's more landscaping, a lot of more brick, and it kind of seems like it's opening up a bit, but not as much as when you finally turn the corner and you realize Sapporo Beer Museum and factory and all this stuff, the actual factory, is a whole on campus. These towering brick buildings. They even have one of those giant, like, kegs that they would be making all the beer in, buried in the ground as decoration in the garden. The sign is put on a bunch of cask barrels. Yeah, I'm in the right spot finally. I'm getting some beer. They have taken this old factory, right? So an old building that was in full production at one point, and they've converted it from top to bottom into an actual walk-through museum. Now, you can probably get a tour and all these things, but no one's speaking English here. There's some on the signs, but I'm 2 weeks into this trip, 2.5 weeks. I'm not expecting English. But that's where this museum is really good for you if you don't speak Japanese, because most of the signs are in English, but most of it's just kind of physical and visual, and it's very nicely designed. Has that hit is when you come out of this hallway and it opens up, and they've taken from the ground floor all the way to the roof and open it up, no floors, and they have the giant kegs that they brew the beer in. And it's all polished copper, beautiful red brick everywhere, right? And then they even have these stained glass windows, the lights coming through. And you're just kind of like, I think that's more beer than I will ever drink in my entire life. And it makes you feel small. And then you walk up this kind of spiralish staircase to the next floor around the keg. It's so friggin' cool. Like, you're very physically a part of the space. And then on the second floor, you have lots of dioramas. So the layout of the campus, how these factories work, and they take cutouts like, hey, during the brewing process, there's this, that, and the other. And during the harvest process, there's this, that, and the other. You know, that's what it's like. It feels a lot like a children's science museum where everything is touchy and feely and kind of toyish, and it's just really neat. It's very informative. It talks about the whole process, and you're in the factory. It just feels really good. So Sapporo is, well, it's the city, right? And then there's also the beer, which is how most people know the name. So to some degree, I'm here, so I must go to the beer museum. But also, I really like Sapporo Beer. Generally, and this is big thanks to Wisconsin and my time up there, I'm supposed to have beer that you can't see through, or else it's not beer. So I like hard, heavy coffee, chocolate, oatmeal stouts, and all these things. But if I'm gonna drink a light beer, I want a Sapporo, almost exclusively. It's got a little bit of flavor, not too much. I can drink a lot of them. So, all right, Sapporo is excellent. It's time to drink. And it's very convenient, of course, because it's Japan. It's just a vending machine. Put in some coins, get a ticket, go to the counter, and they bring you beer. Pretty excellent. In fact, it's something like 700 yen for a flight of 3. But this place that's going to actually serve me beer has multiple types of Sapporo. I'm used to just one. This is new to me. The waitress comes over to me and she asks, do I need anything else? Do I need any food? We have more stuff available. And I said, no, I think I'm good. 3 pints is enough right now. And she started asking me some questions. Now, as this waitress asking me questions about my trip, I said, yeah, it's been there over 2 weeks. I landed in Tokyo and then immediately south, ended up camping on this island in Nikitsuki, worked my way up through the Kansai region. I was in Akita like 2 days ago. Yesterday, Otaru's this thing. I'm just going on and on and on and on. And as I'm expounding on my trip, I don't know if I can describe the look that came over her face, but it was just very interesting. She was not perplexed, but she was just sucked into what I was saying, and I thought that was really cool. She understood English enough. I'm almost excited. I'm a little buzzed, so I'm not the easiest to follow. But then she told me something very profound. This is one of the things that stuck with me the most in this trip. And she says to me that, wow, that's an amazing trip. I'm so glad you've seen so much of Japan. In fact, you've seen more of Japan than I have. And that wasn't meant to be hurtful or jealousy or anything. She's just stating a fact, right? But it hit me how lucky I was, how fortunate I was. I've joked a lot about, I've talked a lot about that I didn't have money. This was the final of my dollars in my bank account. I shouldn't have done this trip. Responsibly? No. But I did it anyway. And I got to see more of Japan than a person who lives there. And for me, I felt lucky, I felt bad, but I also felt like this is emblematic of travel and why it can be so profound, but it eludes so many people. She lived in this country. They have the world's best train systems. They're always on time, they go super fast, they go everywhere, they're relatively cheap, but she hadn't done that. And here I am on the other side of the world, seeing more of a country than one of its own residents. I'm on this really long take right now, trying to find words to describe this, and I'm not doing a good job because I don't really know what to say. Other than I just felt really lucky, really fortunate that in this time, in this place in my life, I could make it happen. And, here we are. 8 years later, I haven't done anything quite like it. But yeah, after the waitress left, I kind of realized that really was 3 pints of beer, and my stomach is now 100%, 98% beer. So I have to track down food. And luckily, they've thought about it. If I just walk outside, turn left again, I'm in their restaurant. So that's where I'm going. I do not care what they serve. At least I'm stable now. But I do still have to commit to only walking today and have to go all the way back downtown to get to the Miku Cafe. So it's just me and my thoughts and some music. After leaving the cafe, there is one more thing to do tonight, and that is to go up a mountain because it's my last night in Sapporo, and if I want to look at the city all lit up, where better to go than the top of a mountain? So off I go, but not on foot. I've walked a lot today, so we're going to take the streetcar because Mount Moiwa, it's still going to ask me to climb, up to it from the car. It doesn't get me right there, and in fact, it's very steep. Like, these sidewalks are, if there was ice or snow, no way I'd be making it up these things. And I bet there's Japanese grandparents that do this, no problem. And I'm just like, ugh. And on top of this mountain, it's a whole mini museum with this big platform, lots of viewing space. In the middle, there's this really interesting teepee frame-like thing with a light in it and a bell. Again, everything's in Japanese. I don't know. It's cool, but I don't know what it's about. But surrounding it, though, is a bunch of these rails and cables and things, and there's locks all over them. And I'd heard about this before. I'd never seen it. These are called lovers' locks. So this must be a very romantic location for people to come up and profess to each other, and we'll put this lock on this cable and look out over the city. And I'm just like, we're all alone. There's a patch of snow here on the ground, and my camera cannot take night shots to save its life. So, bit of a contrast for the experience up here. So I hadn't really slowed down all day. I mean, except when I was drunk, but now I just kind of let it sink in, because after this, this is a big city, right? But I'm on the side of a mountain. It's kind of quiet. Tokyo will be nothing like this. From tomorrow morning till the end of the trip, it's going to be go, go, go. So right now, we do the opposite of that. It's pretty neat. Just ending my day. All right, back down the cable car. It's time to get home, but on the way, it's huge, and there's two of them. There is apparently a bunny spirit here on Mount Moiwa, and it's really cute looking. It looks like this. And if you're not expecting that to be around the corner when you come out of the pitch dark cable car, it's surprising. I was not ready for that. Back in my Airbnb, this is the part of the trip that from the very beginning I knew would be hard. I am going to Tokyo next. It is my last city. It's the final long train ride. There will be no more Shinkansen after this. And so I packed kind of slowly, honestly. Not sullenly, but kind of resisted. It's coming. The end of the trip is coming. And while I don't seem it right now, internally, I'm so excited. And honestly, right now, thinking about it, I'm really excited too. But it has to end. And I hate that. I don't want to think about it ending. But I also really want to go to Tokyo.